Good evening and shalom. My name is Jen Steinberg, and I have the honor and pleasure of being the president here at Beth Emeth. I would like to welcome all of you to our High Holiday services. We're so glad you're able to join us this evening. I would like to let you know that today's service and all of our High Holy Day services will be live streamed and available for viewing as archived videos shortly after the service ends from the link on the homepage of our website. Please make a point of checking out the recordings as well as the website itself when you get home, and be sure to let friends and family know they are available. Now for the safety announcements. If an emergency should occur during our service, please immediately leave the building by the way of the closest exit available to you. I assure you we would not schedule a drill during the High Holy Day services. The emergency exits are clearly marked, but be aware that the closest exit may involve going back through the kitchen. It is essential that any evacuation begin the moment an alarm is sounded, since the first 30 seconds of any emergency are the most critical. Please move quickly and quietly, as additional evacuation instructions may be given by the staff on our bima or by our ushers. Once outside, please move at least 300 feet away from the building to allow access by fire and police professionals responding to the situation. Do not re-enter the building until an all clear has been given. If you have children in babysitting, as hard as it will be, please do not try to get them, as the attendants there have been instructed to take all the children out through the school entrance, and this would cause increased confusion. If there is an individual health emergency, we would ask that the nearest congregant please notify the ushers, who will immediately call 911 for professional medical services. Again, time is of the essence. We hope that none of these precautions will be needed, but thank you very much for your attention.
Erev Tov, good evening. L'Shana Tova, Tikatevu, V'Techatemu, a sweet new year for all of us. It is good to be home. For when we are in this place together, surrounded by people who love us and the memories that we carry in our hearts, we are home. Home to welcome in this new year. We turn to pages 18 and 19 in our Machzorim, in our High Holiday prayer books, and we rise.
אני ממעש נרעש ונפחד מפחד יושב תהילת ישראל באתי למוד ולהתחנן לפניך על עמך ישראל אשר שלחוני אף על פי שאיני חטאי וחגון לכך לכן אבקש ממך אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב Adonai, Adonai, Yirachum v'chanun, Elohei Yisrael, Shaddai, Yahweh Eloru, אינו מצליח דרכי, אשר אני הולך לעמוד ולבקש רחמים עליי ועל שולחי.
Behold, me of little merit, trembling and afraid, as I stand before you to plead for your people. O gracious God, the one enthroned by Israel's praises, compassionate and loving, accept my petition and that of my people. Let them not be put to shame because of me, nor I because of them. Sinners though we are, let our prayers come before you innocent and sweet and pleasing, as though from hearts more worthy than ours. Let love be the banner we raise in your sight, and let that love conceal all our sins and make them as though they had not been. Change our afflictions to joy and gladness, our misdeeds to acts of life. May our love of truth and peace remove all that hinders us from sincere and fruitful prayer.
O God supreme, God of every age, God eternal, let my prayer find favor for the sake of the righteous, the loyal, the honest, and upright, and for the sake of your own glorious purpose on earth. For you are the one who in mercy hears our prayer. Blessed are you who hearkens to prayer.
We remain standing as we turn in our Machzorim to page 17, as we invite Marissa Robinson forward to bless our Yom Tov lights. Page 17.
Creator of beginnings, as you created the world on this day, uniting fragments into a universe, so help unite our hearts and the hearts of all Jews to serve you. Illumine our lives with the light of your Torah, for by your light do we see light. Grant us this year a glimpse of the light of redemption, the light of healing and of peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Thanks. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Yom Tov. Haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Yom Baruch atah
Baruch Shemo.
Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
And let us rejoice in the new year as we turn to page 21 to Psalm 121. Esa einai el harim, I lift my eyes to the mountains. What is the source of my help? Page 21. God of our people, hear our prayer. We who speak are Jews. Remember the bush you kindled once in the desert air years ago on Horeb's lonely sand, that fire you lit to set the centuries aflame, and say to us your endless perfect name, I am what I will be. It burns eternally now, that light upon our altars now against the night. And there are deserts still. We are the Jews. We do not forget.
Remember the words you spoke in stone and thunder.
The mountains smoked and the dismayed multitude stood off, hearing the first time the words they could not refuse, fearing the burden and the God that set them into history. And there are mountains still. We are the Jews. We cannot forget. We come here then. But something far more deep compels. The ancient desert dream we keep, a people touched by God, a certain grace that tells of you. We are locked with you in old identity, remembering the lightning of that place, something in us of your awesome will, something of that mountain's thunder still.
Love us as much as we will let you. We are your Jews. We will not forget you.
בחודש השביעי באחד לחודש יהיה לכם שבתון, זיכרון תרועה מקרא קודש, כל מלאכת עבודה לא תעשו. In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, there shall be a sacred assembly, a cessation from work, a day of commemoration proclaimed by the sound of the shofar. Abel. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, shetechadesh aleinu ve'al kol beit Yisrael et Hashanah hazot, shnat chameshet alafim u'shvameot u'shmonim, l'chaim u'lishalom, l'sason u'lisimcha, l'ishua u'nechama, v'nomar Amen. May it be your will, eternal our God, God of all generations, that the year 5780 brings to us and the whole house of Israel life and peace, joy and exaltation, redemption and comfort. And let us say,
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim b'mishmeroteham barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, Uma'avir yom umevi layla, uma'avdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai tzavaot shemo, El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And how unyielding is the will of our people Israel. After the long nights, after the days and years when our ashes blacken the sky, Israel endures, heart still turned to love, soul turning still to life.
So day and night, early and late, we will rejoice in the study of Torah. We will walk by the light of mitzvot. They are our life and the length of our days.
Praise be the source of life and love, and Israel our people.
ואת אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננת לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Amen.
On page 27. What does it mean to be a Jew? You shall be holy.
In the face of the many, to stand for the one, in the presence of fragments, to make them whole.
What does it mean to be a Jew? You shall be a holy people.
To hold fast to our vision of truth, to retain our faith in tomorrow.
Holy in our past is the memory of redemption from Egyptian bondage.
Holy in our day is the hope of redemption we still await.
Twice holy in our past are those who gave their lives to hallow this world.
Holy is the Jew today and tomorrow who bears witness to the goodness of life.
And holy are those whose lives are songs in freedom's cause.
מלכותך ראו בניך וכהיום לפני משה ומרים Zeli anu v'yomru v'ne'emor kivod Adonai et Yaakov ugelo miad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Gai Israel
May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. May night spread over us a shelter of peace, of quiet and calm, the blessing of rest. There will come a time when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish. There will come a day of happiness, of contentment and peace. Praised be the source of joy within us, for the night and its rest, for the promise of peace.
Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבו בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומייכון ובחייתכו בית ישראל בעלה ובזמן קריב ואימרו
Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Nevarach Le'olam Le'amayam Yitbarach Yitbarach
יתברך וישתבח ויתברך ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהלל ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשא לעילא ולעילא מן כה ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמא תשבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמא ואימרו
Amen. We rise now together, spiritually, physically, for the Amidah.
Adonai sivatai tiftach wafi hilatecha Adonai sivatai tiftach wafi hilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah v'Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה זוכרנו לחיים מלך חופץ בחיים וכותבנו בספר החיים כותבנו בספר למענך אלוהים חיים.
זוכרנו לחיים,
מלך חפץ בחיים, וכותבנו בספר החיים. כותבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני.
ברוך שמו.
מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע.
Bottom of 31. Who is like you, mighty one? Who is your equal, author of life and death, source of salvation?
Who is like you, source of mercy and compassion? You sustain the life of your children.
We trust in you to restore our life. Blessed is the Eternal One, source of all life. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha sela. You are holy, your name is holy. And those who strive to be holy, declare your glory day by day. Eternal God, cause all your works to stand in awe before you, and all that you have made to tremble at your presence. Let all that lives revere you, and all creation turn to you in worship. Let them all become a single family, doing your will with a perfect heart. For well we know, eternal God, that yours is the majesty, yours the might, and awesome is your name in all creation. Grant honor to your people, glory to those who revere you,
Hope to those who seek you, and courage to those who trust you. Bless your land with gladness, and your city with joy, and cause the light of redemption to dawn for all who dwell on earth.
Then the just shall see and exult, the upright be glad, and the faithful sing for joy. Violence shall rage no more, and evil shall vanish like smoke. The rule of tyranny shall pass away from the earth, and you alone shall reign over all your works. As it is written, the Eternal One shall reign forever. Your God, O Zion, from generation to generation. Hallelujah.
Kadosh ata ונורא שמך ואין אלוה מבלעדיך ככתוב ויגמור אדוני צבאות במשפט והאל הקדוש נקדש בצדקה ברוך אתה אדוני המלך המלך הקדוש.
Page 34. In love and favor, O God, you have chosen us from all the peoples, hallowing us with your mitzvot. Our sovereign, you have summoned us to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. In your love, O God, you have given us this day of remembrance, to hear the sound of the shofar, to unite in worship, and to recall the exodus from Egypt. Our God and God of all ages, be mindful of your people Israel on this day of remembrance,
and renew in us love and compassion, goodness, life, and peace.
This Amen. This day bless us with your nearness. Amen. This day help us to live. Amen. Our God and God of our ancestors, may you rule in glory over all the earth, and let your grandeur be acclaimed throughout the world. Reveal the splendor of your majesty to all who dwell on earth, that all your works may know you as their maker, and all the living acknowledge you as their creator. Then all who breathe shall say, the sovereign God of Israel is the one whose dominion extends to all creation. Our God and God of our ancestors, sanctify us with your mitzvot, and let your Torah be our way of life.
Satisfy us with your goodness,
Gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth.
For you, O God, are truth, and your word is true forever.
Blessed is the Eternal, who hallows the house of Israel and the day of remembrance.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'ahava tikabel u'te'ili ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael. Yisrael Amecha Karon lechol Kurioi v'nei el avodecha v'choneinu Shefach ruchacha עלינו ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון
together at the top of page 37. We gratefully acknowledge that you are
eternal
God
God,
and
God, the God of all generations. You are the rock of our life,
the power that shields us in every age. We thank you and sing your praises for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your keeping, for the miracles that are daily with us,
and for your wondrous gifts at all times, morning, noon, and night. You are goodness, your mercies never end. You are compassion, your love never fails. You have always been our hope.
For all these things, O sovereign God, let your name be forever exalted and blessed, and let life abundant be the heritage of all the children of your covenant. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Eternal God, whose nature is goodness, we give you thanks and praise.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tosi Le'olam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol hashalom. V'tov einecha Yisrael v'chol etuv chosha b'shlomecha. B'sefer chayim v'racha v'shalom. V'racha v'shalom. Nizacher v'nikaytem lefanecha. Anachnu v'chol amcha Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Oseh hashalom.
We pray for peace as a new year begins. We look at the year that was, perhaps even the day that was, and we hope that peace will come soon to our streets, to our communities, to our own households, to our world, to our land of Israel. But we know there are those for whom the hope of peace feels like ash in the mouth, who in this moment are without peace, who lie on beds of pain, who are suffering, who are in need of desperate healing of the mind, of the spirit, of the body, perhaps even some in this room. So I ask us, in this moment, if there are those we are thinking of who are in need of healing, to hold their names close to us, to think of them, to be with them in this moment, as together we pray for healing.
מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeira imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Oh, say shalom, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
We turn to page 40 in our Machzorim, and spiritually or physically we rise for Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice.
Avinu Malkeinu chatanu lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have sinned against you.
Avinu Malkeinu chamol aleinu va'al olalenu v'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and on our children.
Avinu Malkeinu kale dever v'cherev v'ra'av me'alenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to sickness, war, and famine.
Avinu Malkeinu kale kol tsar umastin me'alenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to all oppression.
Avinu Malkeinu kotvenu b'sefer chayim tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us for blessing in the book of life.
Avinu Malkeinu chadesh alenu shana tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, let the new year be a good year for us.
Avinu Malkeinu harem keren Yisrael amecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, give strength to your people, Israel.
Avinu Malkeinu chonenu va'anenu ki ein banu ma'asim. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, be gracious and answer us, for we have little merit. Treat us generously and with kindness, and be our help.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol aleinu, V'ol aleinu, V'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kane
Can I share a somewhat embarrassing story with you? I feel like after 11 Rosh Hashanahs together, and this is our 11th together, that we can level with each other a little bit. Several years ago, don't ask me when, I was trying to buy something at a pharmacy near my home. I remember that I was rushing because I was trying to get some meds to my kid. We've all been there. And as I was ringing up, I was trying to signal with my body language that I just wanted to keep on going. It wasn't life or death. These weren't prescriptions. But I was definitely stressed in the way that a parent can be when their kid isn't feeling well. And the cashier asked me if I wanted to participate in some kind of promotion or sign up for a frequent shoppers program or something. I had zero interest, and I just wanted to get out of there, so I said no. And that should have been the end of it. But she didn't drop it. In fact, she kept pushing. I don't know if she'd been instructed to really hustle for this, or if she was just a super optimistic person. But we went back and forth a few times, and at that point, in that moment, I told her that if she didn't stop pushing, I'd talk to her manager. I didn't really want to talk to her manager, because that would be more time. I just wanted to go home. But that's what I said. It was as if I had punched her in the gut. She immediately shut down. Her whole demeanor changed. She stopped making eye contact and looked down directly at the register. She may have even said, "Wow," and not in a good way. I just wanted to get out of there. But in my hurry to depart, I made this person, this total stranger, fear for her livelihood. Did I really need to do that? Would it have been so bad if I had just smiled and made a joke, or just said, "Hey, I know this is your job, but I'm just trying to get home and I'm in a hurry," or just signed up for whatever the stupid program was to get her off my back? Was my reaction really necessary? I bring this up with you not merely to embarrass myself, although I've done that, or to whine about my failings, or to use this as therapy time. It's not really fair. But because I think that there is a real question in front of us about how we as a society interact with people, especially in moments when we are in a hurry or are stressed out or feel we need to take control of the situation. And that is to do something similar to what I just did in that story, to assert some level of authority or to threaten the other person with some kind of consequence. In a way, it is to perform an act of violence. Oh, I don't mean physical violence, mind you. I don't think anybody in this room is interested in getting involved in a barroom brawl. But physical violence is one of only several other kinds. Certainly it's terrifying, and we see far too much violence in our own city's streets, in the violence we see throughout our country and this world. I was reminded that in a few days it will be the second anniversary of the shooting in Las Vegas, for example. How other kinds of violence in our lives, other ways that we can be assaultive. It's all around us. The use of punitive measures in our schools to correct behaviors, rather than trying to use any kind of empathy. The threats of violence inherent in so many ways that we interact with one another, ways that we as individuals or a society try to force compliance, to assert control. Reflect for a moment on how we speak and how we posture ourselves. And I mean that not as a hypothetical. I want us to all do some reflecting in this moment. Do we operate from a place of entitlement, where our words, our needs, our wants, those of the people around us? Do we ask for help from our coworkers, or do we really make demands? Is there an implicit threat in our voice when we ask for something? Do we go through our lives with the need to win at all cost, to win every single argument we encounter? Do I even need to discuss the way we talk to each other on social media, especially about politics and our political views? How when we disagree with someone, or we don't hear the exact right turn of phrase from a person we're interacting with, we are quick to cancel them. Cancel them? Really? Yeah, really. Perhaps it is a result of the world we're living in, where we are all wound so tight, all living right on the edge of reactions seem appropriate, and yet I must ask the question, are they? Are they really? In his book, Between the World and Me, the author Ta-Nehisi Coates describes an experience leaving a movie theater with his then young son, where an adult shoves his son out of the way. The adult, and a woman, is white. Coates and his son are black. When Coates moves to protect his son, trying to intervene in a way to shelter him, as any parent might do, the woman's response is to look at him and say, "I'm going to call the police." That in and of itself is a threat of violence, a threat, as Coates points out, against any control that he, as a black man, has over his body. Maybe we don't have an exact corollary experience in our own lives, but we can ask ourselves the question whether we are quick to threaten consequences to our children, to the people around us. Are we quick to call for a manager or a supervisor, whether of the person ringing us up at the store or of our teacher at our child's school? Go back to the story I gave at the beginning, the woman at the pharmacy. I didn't threaten her physically. I didn't even raise my voice. But my words were assaultive and did clear violence to this poor person. I don't know anything about her. I don't even know her name. I certainly don't know what trauma she's faced in her life. And I don't know how my reaction to her fed into her trauma. And essentially, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about trauma. Violence, whether words or actions, exposes others to the possibility of trauma and reawakens the traumas they've already experienced. So what would it look like then to live in a trauma-informed world? One where, while we might not exactly know what each other has experienced, we live in such a way that we take people's trauma into account. The great Jewish thinker Emmanuel Levinas put it a little differently. We cannot know each other's burdens. Not really. Because we're all living our own lives. We're not living each other's lives. But we can be responsive to each other's burdens, and we can take them into account with our actions. Maybe it involves assuming best intent on others rather than assuming that they're out to get you. Maybe it's taking a moment and listening to the voice of the other person and reflecting on the stress that they're expressing, the stress in their life, and giving them the benefit of the doubt, knowing we'd want the same for ourselves, or even just giving a little bit of space so they can give voice to that trauma. There are so many ways we can put a salve on each other's wounds instead of exacerbate them. I've mentioned a couple. I'm sure if we sat down together, we could come up with many more. But all of them require us to be willing to commit to living a life in a non-violent fashion. As it happens, our community, this congregation, and our city, the city of Wilmington, is in the midst of that effort even as we speak. This evening, earlier today, at the conclusion of Peace Week here in Delaware, Peace Week that began for us with Slichot last Saturday, our interfaith and civic partners are gathered, much as we're gathered, to commit to a new year, a year full of possibility, a year full of potential holiness, waiting to be unlocked. However, they are not 5780. More's the shame. Instead, they are gathered to commit to the first year of nonviolent Wilmington. Part of the Nonviolent Cities movement, the vision is exactly what it sounds like and what it would mean for us as a city, our institutions, our nonprofits, our houses of worship, our businesses, and even each and every citizen to commit to Wilmington being a place of nonviolence. It's a noble idea, an effort that we as a congregation are committing to as well in partnership with these other organizations. And to many of us, I'm sure it sounds totally Pollyanna. To begin with, we are weighed down by the sheer amount and intensity of violence we as a city experience weekly, sometimes daily. The paper this morning. While the last year had been better in terms of violent crime, a brief reflection on the shootings only in the last couple of days tell us that we have a long way to go. To say nothing of the trauma the residents of Wilmington are still grappling with. Lost parents and children and friends. Add to that the physical threat our community has felt since the shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh less than a year ago, the way minorities have been under increasing stress in the last year. And then add on top of all of that the various ways violence shows up systemically in our criminal justice system, in our impact on the environment, and our treatment of the vulnerable. And then add on top of that the kind of violence I was describing earlier, the hurts and threats we make as expressions of our own stress. And while it would seem to many of us that this would be a lost cause, which is why I would argue even more strenuously that we need to commit to this effort. Since that encounter in the pharmacy, I've spent a lot of time thinking about what I can do to be a more peaceful person, to truly seek peace and pursue it as our tradition admonishes. And I am increasingly convinced that the violence around us, whether we perpetrate it or not, whether we are direct victims of it or not, debilitates us. Whether it is the violence we see around us, the crime in our city, or the way we respond to that crime, the violence of our actions or the violence of our rhetoric, including, and perhaps especially our political rhetoric, we find ourselves locked in a system that amplifies and emphasizes violence as always justified, always warranted, always necessary, and always traumatic. Why would we choose to live in a world so comfortable with violence? Why wouldn't we choose to make real a vision of nonviolence? Violence cannot be resolved merely by our elected officials or our schools or our police or our first responders. It is not there. It will take all of us, each of us, committed to the well-being of this community, choosing to move forward, even if this goal is aspirational. In order to make that commitment, we must understand what nonviolence means, especially as Jews. As we know, our tradition is not one of pacifism. Our tradition reminds us that sometimes, sadly, violence is necessary for self-defense and warfare, even to protect the vulnerable. Again and again, the Torah and rabbinic tradition give us profound examples of how restricted, controlled violence is sometimes necessary. But our tradition never values violence for its own sake, nor does it understand it as the best possible choice, only the sometimes necessary choice. Think instead is the importance of peace and maintaining peace, how the blessing of peace is repeated again and again. Meanwhile, violence is understood to interrupt what should be a natural order, that violence is a disruption, a violation. Even the violence perpetrated by God is not idealized, nor is it celebrated by our text and traditions. In Genesis, right before tomorrow's Torah reading, the binding of Isaac, when God chooses to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham chooses to challenge God and push back against the divine decree rather than revel in the destruction of the wicked. Similarly, when the Egyptians are drowning in the sea after Israel has fled, Israel sings song of praise, song that the Midrash teaches us inspires the angels themselves. How do the rabbis imagine God's reaction to this song? God stops them appalled and asks, "My children are drowning and you sing songs of praise to me?" While violence may be necessary sometimes, according to the Torah, it should be understood as a tool of last resort and should not be our first instinct. Now, I'm sure there are many listening to this right now thinking, yeah, that's nice, Rabbi, but that's not how the world works. And it's not. Not yet. We tell people, perhaps we've even told our children this, to get tough, because it's a tough world. We tell people to suck it up and figure it out, rub some dirt in it and move on, move forward. We tell our children these things, that pain doesn't matter, or if it does, it's supposed to make you stronger, that it's a test, that that's the way the world is. It's a big, tough world, and you just have to be tough enough to get through it. That's how you succeed. Get up. That's what we say, isn't it? That's what we tell ourselves and each other. That's what we expect. What a bunch of narishkeit. Is that really what we want to teach? Is that really how we want to live? That it's okay to torment one another because that's how previous generations dealt with trauma? That it's a dog-eat-dog world and we should go out there swinging? Why? What's Jewish exactly about that idea? I don't remember anybody in the Torah saying, suck it up. I remember the Torah reminding us to love our neighbor, to look out for the orphan and the widow, and to care for the stranger and the vulnerable in our midst. 36 times in the Torah, we are reminded to care for the stranger, to love the stranger, and that love is unconditional. Not to love them when they comply, not to love them when they submit, but to love them because we were strangers in the land of Egypt. Maybe it is a tough world, the Torah seems to say, but our job is to make it a little gentler, a little kinder, a little more generous. A few years ago, when I urged us to become Rodfei Shalom, pursuers of peace, I was struck by how many people came forward to tell me of how other people should be more willing to pursue peace. Virtually no one spoke of themselves and their own failings. in every direction but our own. And to be sure, we are commanded to rebuke our neighbors, but only after we reflect inwardly in our own behavior, and only as an act of love. Can you say that the last time you called someone out, it was an act of love? Out of a desire for peace? I suspect, perhaps unfairly, that many of us, perhaps most of us, struggle with this. We struggle with acting in a nonviolent way. Our city could be a nonviolent city. But if it's just about putting the city's name on a website, putting together another committee of people who mean well, then it's no good. This requires all of us and each of us to pull in the same direction. This is about violence on the streets and violence in our homes. It is about the violence in our rhetoric and the violence in our society. This is about the violence to our environment and to our neighborhoods. This is about choosing to live in a way that is trauma-informed, remembering that we are neither the centers of our universe nor God, but people, interconnected and dependent on one another, even and perhaps especially when we differ. I'm not going to lie to you. This is hard. Everything is going to push back, including our own fight or flight responses. But if our city is to truly heal, and if we're to heal our own hearts, then we need to pursue it. So I ask you, I invite you tonight to make a pledge within your heart, to commit to pursuing nonviolence in your life, to helping others pursue nonviolence, to live in a trauma-informed fashion, to affirm the values of our tradition, to seek peace and pursue it. I don't know what happened to that woman at the pharmacy. I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember her name or what she looked like. I have never apologized, and I don't know that I could find her now if I could. But I know that I can do better. I can be more responsive to those around me, and I know that if I do so, it will make a difference, and it will bring peace. I hope you will join me. We turn back to our machzorim, to our prayer books, to page 42. As we rise for Kiddush, we'll be led in the English of Kiddush by Ira Zinner.
Blessed is the eternal God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Blessed is the eternal God, ruler of the universe, who has chosen us from all the peoples, hallowing us with the mitzvot. In your love, eternal God, you have given us this day of remembrance, to hear the sound of the shofar, to unite in worship, and to recall the exodus from Egypt. For you have chosen us from all peoples, consecrating us to your service, and your word is truth eternal. Blessed is the sovereign God, ruler of all the world, who hallows the house of Israel and the day of remembrance. Blessed is the eternal God, ruler of the universe, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this season.
Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Eloheinu melech haolam Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bachar mikol am ורוממנו מכל לשון וקידשנו במצוותיו ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה את יום הזיכרון הזה יום דרום מקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל עמים ודברך אמת וקיים לעד ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shemo.
מלך על כל הארץ מקדש ישראל ביום הזיכרון ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shemo.
אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו והחיינו והגיענו לזמן הזה. לחיים.
We'll remain standing for Aleinu L'Shabach on the facing page.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות האדמה. שם חלקנו כהם, ויגור עלינו ככל המנם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלך הוא.
You spread out the heavens and establish the earth. You are our God, there is none else. In truth, you alone are our ruler, as it is written. Know then this day and take it to heart. The Eternal One is the God in heaven above and on the earth below. There is none else.
We therefore hope, eternal God, soon to behold the glory of your might. Then will false gods vanish from our hearts, and the world will be perfected under your unchallenged rule. And then will all acclaim you as their God, and, forsaking evil, turn to you alone. Let all who dwell on earth acknowledge that unto you every knee must bend, and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you, eternal God, let them humble themselves. To your glorious name let them give honor. Let all accept the yoke of your sovereignty, that you may rule over them soon and forever. For you are sovereign, and to all eternity you will reign in glory, as it is written, the Eternal will reign forever and ever.
As it has been said, the Eternal One shall reign over all the earth. On that day, O God, you shall be one, and your name shall be one.
Adonai,
At this sacred moment, we turn our thoughts to those who have gone from life. We recall the joy of their companionship. We feel a pang, the echo of that intenser grief when first their death lay before our stricken eyes. Now we know that they will never vanish, so long as heart and thought remain within us. By love are they remembered, and in memory they live. O God, grant that their memory may bring strength and blessing. May the nobility in their lives and the high ideals they cherished endure in our thoughts and live on in our deeds. May we, carrying on their work, help to redeem your promise that life shall yet prevail. If you are in the first 30 days of your mourning, I invite you to rise at this time. And if you are in the first year of your mourning, I invite you to rise. If on this Rosh Hashanah you observe a yahrzeit, I invite you to rise at this time. And if it is your custom to rise, to remember those whom only we can remember, I invite you to do so as we join in Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah B'alma divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayedochol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru Amen. Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushpechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalom araba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. The departed whom we now remember, Barney Apotheker, Morris, Sarah Berkowitz, Edwina Buden, Alan Cohen, Rose Goldberg, Minna Hirsch, Isaac Creeder, Molly Krinsky, Sally Miller, Jack Robert Miller, Ida Myers, Louis W. Rapkin, Goldie Rapkin, Eugene Sloan, Dr. Mortimer B. Wackstein, and Harold C. Wheatley Jr. All of them have entered into the peace of life eternal. They still live on earth in the acts of goodness they performed and in the hearts of those who cherish their memory. May the beauty of their lives abide among us as a loving benediction. May the one who makes peace in the high places grant peace to all who mourn, peace to Israel, peace to humanity, as we say. Amen. Please be seated. Our observance of Rosh Hashanah continues tomorrow, no surprise, with our taught service at 8:30, followed by our traditional Rosh Hashanah morning service, our contemporary morning service following after that at 1:30, followed by Tashlich. The following day, second day of Rosh Hashanah, or the day after Rosh Hashanah, depending on how you count these things, we have the opportunity to gather for our study brunch, exploring Jewish ethics, generosity, and gratitude in Judaism. I hope you will join us for any and all of that. There is, as always, lots to take home with you. Food for thought, spiritual transformation, a whole bunch of flyers and calendars out on the table. And if you take nothing else with you tonight, two items. One, you know what I'm going to say, the brochure for Israel bonds, an opportunity for us to invest in the future of our beloved state of Israel. And also, I hope that the ushers have put them out, those bags that we use to collect for our food drive every year. Except this year, it'll be a little different. First of all, it's a reusable bag, not a paper bag. Don't keep it. Fill it up and bring it back. But Rabbi, they always stapled the list on the outside. Where's the list? It's printed on the bag. And you'll bring it back, and we're going to put it toward the work of our food pantry, now supported also by the Food Bank of Delaware, and I would strongly encourage you, if you have not yet volunteered for our food pantry, now is the time to do so. Finally, many thanks to all those who make our high holidays so wonderful, whether it is our wonderful choir, our wonderful clergy team, our amazing staff, our tremendous volunteers, and most importantly, all of you. Whether you are a longtime member or a new member, you are returning to visit family, or you have been here the whole time. It really does make this home to be able to celebrate with each and every one of you. Let's conclude by turning to page 47. Page 47, as we rise and join in singing Adon Olam. Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yavarech et amo v'shalom. May God give strength to each and every one of us as we pursue peace. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.